Now it's time to jump back to the beginning of the Beatles' career. Today I'm going to listen to Please Please Me for the first time. I've already covered Rubber Soul, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, Revolver, the White Album, Abbey Road, and Let It Be. But now it's time to do what I should have done in the first place and jump back to the very start of their career and listen to their first album. And already I read the editor's notes. Normally I do that, kind of on camera, but since it's a little bit longer, I did it before, and I knew some things about this album. Obviously, I know Twist and Shout. It's one of my favorite Beatles songs. It's one of those songs that always, there's a very clear picture in my head, but I'll talk about that after I listen to the album. And obviously that cover is very iconic, although most of their album covers are quite iconic, especially Abbey Road and Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Those ones are just up here. But the editor's notes kind of mentioned stuff like how John Lennon basically lost his voice, I think, doing Twist and Shout, which makes sense because I genuinely still don't know how they did that to their voice. And then Paul and George had to do a lot of the singing here, and then this was all basically done in one day. I think it's at a 13-hour recording session, and the album is only 36 minutes, along with that Please Please Me documentary thing they have at the end of all their albums, basically, which is 3 minutes and 48 seconds. So a lot of these songs are quite short. They're all under 3 minutes, it looks like. Some are even under 2 minutes, which is that's kind of how it was back then, at least for them. And they kind of changed that later on with I think Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, or I should just call it Sgt. Pepper's. But I'm really excited. I think I know, well, I obviously know Twist and Shout, as I mentioned, and I might know I Saw Her Standing There. There's something about it there, and I think I know Love Me Do, and maybe Please Please Me, but the rest I don't think I know. And I'm interested to see what I think of this album, especially compared to their later works, because obviously they changed quite a bit. This is more kind of earlier on popish. I wanna hold your hand. And my hair is being weird, don't question that. It changes the parts from here to here like every 2 minutes. But let's do this. I'll be back in about 36 or so minutes. I'm honestly surprised about how much I love this album. Going into this one, I knew that it was going to be good. I mean, you go into a Beatles album and you know it's going to be good, and especially when they get into their later work, you're like, yeah, this is going to be really, really great. And going into this album, I was like, okay, I think I'm going to like it, but it's still that rock thing, like the starting of rock, but it has that poppy boy band head goes like this kind of element to it. But it actually worked here, I think. But let's just jump straight into the set list here. This album was actually really good, and it starts off with I Saw Her Standing There, which I think is easily one of the best on the album. And I did actually know this song before. It is on my main playlist. I didn't realize that. I probably should have, but like it started, I'm like, okay, I know this song, and then I checked, and it was, and it's truly a great song. One of the best early Beatles songs, I think. And then Misery really gets stuck in your head, and I really enjoyed it. And it kind of just goes on like this great kind of run here, and then Anna Go to Him is probably in the top 5 of the album. I really, really enjoyed this one. I don't think this was a Beatle, like a, Jesus, why can't I think of what their names are? John Lennon and Paul McCartney kind of like duo or like writing. I think some of these were like covers of, or at least they weren't like original songs, which is still okay because they found a way to put an original spin on it. And then Chains was really good. Boys really get stuck in your head. And on this album, there are a few songs, like you do have a few that are a little kind of forgettable in a way, and Ask Me Why, in my opinion, is one, and it's not a bad song by any means, and maybe that is because then it goes into Please Please Me, which is obviously, I mean, the title track to the album. You can see right there, if I make the mouse big, there it is. And again, it's one of the best on the album, and it's one that I didn't actually recognize going into it, but the second it started playing and the line, Please Please Me, I was like, yeah, this one's really awesome. And Love Me Do, I did recognize this one, Love Me Do, I was like, yeah, that's really awesome. P.S. I Love You is one of the shortest ones on the album. I think this, or no, like one of the shortest. I won't look at them. One of the shortest, and it's really good. It's a sweet little love song. Then Baby It's You is another. They're like sweet little love songs. A lot of the songs on this album are just like pretty good songs. They're not some of the best from their career, and that's just what a lot of them are. Do You Want to Know a Secret stood out to me. It's really, really short. It's even shorter than P.S. I Love You, and it was really good. A Taste of Honey was one where I was like, this and There's a Place were like the two, which I was like, all right, especially Taste Honey, which I was like, didn't exactly have to be there. Maybe again, it is because it goes into, obviously, obviously the greatest song on the album, one of the greatest Beatles songs out there, Twist and Shout. And I can't even do the thing with my voice because, as it said there, they saved the song purposely for last because John Lennon knew that this was going to wreck his voice and he couldn't like sing or talk the next day. And you can hear it here. Every single time I listen to this song, I always think of the scene in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It's one of the best uses of music in any movie. I love it so much. Ferris Bueller's Day Off is one of my favorite movies of all time. And after this video, I'm going to go back and rewatch the scene, even though I watch Ferris Bueller's Day Off like every single year. I just love it so much. It always like puts that picture in my mind of Ferris up on the float. I always think of it. And truly, like the song alone is a really great song. Like it probably falls in my top 10 Beatles songs, top 10, top 15 for sure. I think it's the obvious standard of this album. Although there are a bunch of great songs. I think I Saw Her Standing There is probably my second favorite. Misery and Anna, Go to Him, whatever you want to call it, Anna or Anna, brackets, Go to Him, really great. And then Please Please Me is another one. Those are like my top, is it name 4 or 5? If we're gonna go for, if that was only 4, then I'll put in Love Me Do as well, because they're all really good songs. There are a few here that you could skip them, and like A Taste of Honey, you could skip it and it'd be like, oh well. But overall, for this being the beginning of the Beatles' career, I'm honestly shocked this album would get a 4 out of 5 from me, and I don't know if I like it more or less than Let It Be, like the full album of Let It Be. I'm gonna listen to that one again just to really make sure, because once I'm done listening to all the Beatles albums and I'm gonna rank them all, I'll probably rank them all, or at least I'll do them on a tier list, which will still have me ranking them anyway. And next up we have With the Beatles, which I'm excited to listen to because when I did like the questions thing on Instagram, and somebody said it's one of their favorite Beatles albums, and I'm interested. It's probably the one I know the least about, I would say, so it kind of intrigues me in that way. And then After Night, I think I found a way to watch A Hard Day's Night and Help, so I will be watching A Hard Day's Night as opposed to listening to the album, I think. Again, not 100% sure, but come back in like a week or two to figure that out, and my video on the Beatles should be out Sunday or Monday. And what do you think of this album? Where does it rank amongst the Beatles albums for you? What's your favorite song on it, or favorite songs besides Twist and Shout? And thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Over and out.